Welcome to the table. Go ahead, take a seat. We're just about to begin. I'm Midgarin, and today we're talking about bad players, from the annoying to the outright game killers. If it's your first game or if it's your 100th game, you're bound to run into them. And to help me navigate these waters, we have returning knights Aech and Chief. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Great.
Yeah?
Oh man, you beat me.
Beat you?
Yeah, well, I'm only pretty good and he's great, so I'm like...
Get on his level.
Apparently, yeah, right? Like, I thought I was pretty good and he's like, great.
Right. I feel like we need to actually identify what is a bad player. To you guys, what makes a bad player? What do you look for when you're like, oh god, I don't want to play with this person?
Body odor.
Body odor? Okay. Oh. All right.
I don't know.
That was very important before, pre-2019.
Right.
And now we're slowly getting back into gaming. I used to game at this local store before everything shut down. They had the gaming section on the second floor. You had to walk through the card gamers, and I swear to God, it was like a physical wall walking through that with us. We had a couple girls with us, and like she got so annoyed with it, she would wear these stomp heels and like just make as much noise as possible. She hated having to walk through that stench.
I don't blame her.
I don't either.
Hygiene's a really important thing.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, like, temperament is probably one of my biggest pet peeves if they don't have a good temperament.
What do you mean by temperament?
People who, they have to, like, run off on their own, do their own thing, and they get angry if they don't get to do what they want. Like, people who, like, aren't team players.
Mm-hmm.
Angry people.
Okay, so temperament, body odor, anything else?
Metagaming.
Metagaming. We actually had an entire section on that. We won't talk too much about metagaming because we have covered that, but oh my god, metagamers.
Yeah. Click the link right here up in the corner for that.
Oh, you're making me do more work. You're making me do more work.
It'll be down in the left-hand corner.
No, it'd be up in the right-hand corner, but also linked down in the description below.
Blocking me?
It's a small link. Calm down.
What about the bottom right? It needs to be in the bottom right. It better move around where we're saying it's at the correct time.
I don't think I'm going to do any of that work. So
oh
no.
My gosh!
And if you're listening to this on the other podcast channels, they're crazy. They're absolutely nuts, and I don't know why I do this every week.
Because you love us.
Love's a strong word, and it's one that I don't use.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving back to the topic, kids.
Because we're profitable.
No, you're not. That's why I introduce you all as affordable.
I mean, yeah.
Truth. All right.
Look, I may not be free, but I ain't cheap.
Phrasing. Anyways, moving on. So, what are some of your pet peeves that make a bad player?
One that just doesn't understand the game that he's in.
Oh my god, yes.
They try to make like their own game centered around them when no, it is not your game. It's a group storytelling effort. It is not focused around you, and it is not focused about what you want to do, especially the creepy things that those players probably want to do with their game.
Oh god. Like the people who go too in-depth into what goes on upstairs at the tavern. Like
not even that. That's obvious.
That kind of role play.
That's obvious. That's an obvious no. Play a Warlock on Tuesday.
Yep.
But
do you now? We've never heard of this Tuesday game. And H, I swear to God.
But I've played in a game or two.
I will kill that NPC.
that had some warlocks that took it to a very, very far level of worshipping and describing, to the point I was like, are we just in your twisted like emo fantasy, or are we playing D&D? Like,
Hashtag story time.
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah,
Tell us
I'm
the
here
story.
for the story.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me get my popcorn.
You have 5K viewers to entertain, so make it snappy.
I really don't even like have a story about it.
Oh,
because yeah, I left halfway through the instance that I'm talking about.
That bad, huh?
Well, they monologued, I swear, for about 10 minutes before I left about how they are lighting candles, worshiping their patron, cutting themselves, and getting on their knees and like worshiping their patron. And it was a demon patron, and they're like, I don't feel comfortable with this, and left.
I thought you said they were a warlock, not a blood hunter.
My God.
Yeah, they were straight up worshiping a demon warlock. It was worship. It wasn't like a patron. It was straight up worshiping. And I was like, this is weird.
I
drove an hour and a half to this one game, and the game was like 2 hours long, right? So I drove an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. So that's 3 hours of drive time for a 2-hour game. And the DM wanted to have a 30-minute monologue before the start of each game.
Oh my God.
Not fucking worth it.
God damn.
Hashtag not fucking worth it. Where's the hashtag going?
Kidding. Right in between the knight and the decapitated microphone.
Top right, got it.
Oh my gosh. So we had a player on my real life game back home who we inevitably ended up asking to leave the group. He was kind of a rules lawyer, and he was one of those fussy temperamentals. He was very hack and slash.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care about the role-playing aspect. So I don't think hack and slash gamers are bad per se, but it's you gotta have a good like mesh, you know? If you have a whole group of hack and slash, then you're great. Same with if you've got a whole group of roleplay, you're great. I don't want to say that hack and slashers are bad, but like it was a bad fit for our group. And so he was asked to leave because we all really liked the roleplay aspect, and we liked developing our characters, and the world that the DM had built was really, really rich with information, and it was beautiful. And he just wanted to, you know, hit things and got angry when we didn't go and hit things. We were like, okay, please, good day, sir.
But actually, that makes another good point. A rules lawyer, I always feel, is a bad player. Just someone that, not someone that knows the rules, but someone that breaks up the fun to argue with the DM over rules.
Yeah.
As a DM myself, I don't want to argue. If I say something, just go with it, and we'll talk about it after the game. Because it breaks up the pacing, it breaks up the fun. There has been instances where I have misinterpreted the rules in a way that takes from players. I do appreciate it when like it's after the game that I'm like, hey, you know, I think that, you know, you made a wrong call. That I'm totally fine with. It's just when the person like calls me out in the middle of the game, it's like, dude, we're trying to, we got like this amount of time, and we got so much to do, and we have only this amount of time. You're not helping.
See, like, I'll call things out if I think they're incorrect, but I'm not gonna, like, fight on them. If it's a rule that I know for sure, then I'm like, hey, is this how you're running it? You know, it's more to get an understanding of, like, how the DM's playing it. Like, every DM is gonna be different, but I don't fight a rules lawyer, and I definitely don't argue. If the DM says this is what it is, that is what it is.
You are one of the most argumentative people I have ever met.
I'm
the best
nice.
part about it is that all glitched out, so I can just cut that. So you're not actually.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That all glitched out, so it's like you argue all the time and you just don't say anything. That's where I'm at right now.
Wow.
Hey, it's your internet, not me.
I have another type of player that I don't like too much.
Okay.
Now, I have no problem. I'm going to clarify this. No problem with people playing a gender they're not.
Oh.
I have a problem when they play a different gender just for that, and then they don't even remember that they're the other gender. Like, you don't have to do a voice. You don't have to acknowledge it 24/7. And they were also a hack and slash. So it goes to, like, they were multiple thing. They just didn't care that they put down female, except for when it was convenient to them. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
so that they would just wave it away and just act brutish all the time. And not in like a way where they role-played a brutish female, just to the point they just only turned into a female when it was convenient to take the spotlight and flirt with an NPC.
Gotcha.
I'll flirt with NPCs, but only when it's necessary.
It was kind of weird for this particular player.
One of the types of players that I hate, the whiners. I didn't get exactly what I want, now I'm gonna go fucking sulk for 2 hours. I hate that. It's not a you show. It didn't go your way, but it doesn't go everybody's way anytime. So just calm down.
That's life.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking life for you, dude.
But they don't get their way, and so they sulk for like 2 hours, either on their phone. I was like, "Are you gonna do anything?" No. Like, why are you here? Just go home.
Actually, a good segue. Like, another trait, I guess, is being on your phone. Like, we had a rule in my old group. It's called the Diablo rule, because somebody, I don't know if they had their laptop with them, I guess. It was before my time, but they brought their laptop, and during game, they would just be playing Diablo. When the DM would call on them to do stuff, they'd be like, "Oh, what was going on?"
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody called the Diablo rule, everybody would have to just put their phones away for a while. Because, it's an important part. The DM is running a game, and it's just common courtesy to pay attention to them.
Oh my god. I was running a game, and a friend of mine, he brought his girlfriend to the game. And she'd never played before. I guess I kind of gave her a pass, but she was on her phone the entire time. And what are you doing? And she looked up, and she's like, "I don't know." Okay. And she's new. She doesn't know, she doesn't know the etiquette, that's fine. And after she goes, "Oh, I didn't really have a lot of fun. You guys really didn't do anything." I'm like, "How do you know?
What?
How do you know that we didn't do anything?"
So dumb. I hate people who don't pay attention.
Speaking of girlfriends in D&D,
oh, God.
One of my worst, and this isn't even a player's fault per se, it's more of a DM and player's fault.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a relationship with someone, and you invite them to the game table, and you're DMing the game, you cannot show favoritism, especially to the point like it was in a game that I joined.
To be fair, if you're the DM, you can't show favoritism, period.
Yes, but especially if it's going to be like, oh, this is going to be an obvious person to show favoritism to. We were level 5, and she got like a Boots of Elven Kind, a lockpick that didn't break. What else?
That's some Skyrim bullshit.
And a Cloak of Elven Kind.
Oh wow.
And she was the only rogue. And we're like, really? Really? Only she needed those things.
Mm-hmm.
That was the 3 magic items in the loot hoard for that session.
See, that's why the only randomized tables I use is the loot tables, because then there is absolutely no favoritism. I'm not controlling what you guys roll in the dice. Those are the only randomized tables I use. I don't use random encounter tables because I think they're stupid, which will be another topic later on down the road. I hate presetting your treasure because, yeah, at the end of the day, it may not make sense. Like, oh, why didn't they use this weapon that's in their treasure hoard? Well, because the treasure hoard's like down the hall. Who cares? Fuck it. They forgot to use it, So
I have so much treasure.
So yeah, that's the only randomized tables I use in a game. But you are right, showing favoritism, like even players will show favoritism. They'll have like role play sessions where they spend like an hour talking to each other and they don't include anybody else in the game, and you're like, "Hey, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do?" "Oh, we're hanging out with each other." It's like, okay, then go play a game by yourselves. There's 5 other people at this
table. I try so hard to include other people. If I feel like I am monopolizing the time, I will literally stop. I'll be like, okay, let's do somebody else's stuff.
So I do try to break it up. It's like, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you trying to figure out everybody, trying to get everybody their own screen time, because that is important. At the same time, there is another type of bad player that is part of that, is someone that interjects themselves into somebody else's roleplay.
Got somebody in mind there? Got somebody in mind?
H definitely does have somebody
Anybody?
in mind. If I'm having a session with somebody that's been waiting patiently for like an hour for their quote unquote turn for the role play, this other player jumps in, it's like, "Oh, well, I'm part of this storyline too." Like, No, you're not. You're in a different room. You're doing something entirely different. Oh, I stopped that, and I walk. It's like, how did you hear that this person was talking? Oh, well, I heard. I was like, how? I don't know. I'm trying to be helpful, dude. I'm trying to help. Like, it isn't my job as a player to help other players. Yes, but you're not being helpful. You're interjecting yourself.
Yeah.
So don't
Speaking
do
of that, that reminded me of something. Partly my character has some inspiration from this, but not the bad parts. I was in a game where the DM would go, okay, you can interject yourself, but how did you know about that?
Yeah.
That's how he would ask it. It always shut people down except for somebody that slowly became a spy master.
Not to interject, Chief, but here I'm gonna.
Oh shit, son!
I did not expect this segment to just become a giant bitch session, but I'm actually okay with it. Like, I need to find like a tea. I need to find like a tea sponsor. Like, if there's any companies that sells teas, sponsor this one, because we are just spilling some tea in this bitch.
I would love it. I literally had some tea. I brewed 2 things of tea before coming over here. Like, I had my tea for the morning, like, because I make it iced tea. So it's in the fridge waiting, and then I made myself another cup of like English breakfast tea.
I have an entire cupboard. Like, I usually make myself a hot cup of tea, and I did not do it for this session, and I regret it.
And then I ordered some iced tea, but it did not end up showing up. The delivery service got the order, but the restaurant did not, so I had to get it canceled. So I did not get my tea.
In the words of Sock, it sucks to suck.
It does suck to suck.
I'm gonna put it like in this little thing, like at the bottom. I'm just gonna put like "it sucks to suck" in quotations with his little logo right there.
Oh my gosh, yes. I cannot wait. Like, I want to be in a game with him
He's
so
in
bad.
Greece right now.
I know. Sock, if you're listening to this, I want to play with you. And I realize how weird that sounds. Yep.
Yep.
This is fine. This is fine. Just, if you're listening.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all getting cutouts.
Hashtag I love Poe. I love him so much.
Hashtag October.
All right, anyways.
Okay, moving on. So, Chief, you were talking about interjection before we actually fucking interjected.
Yep.
Something about a spy master?
You know what I hate? I hate people that interject.
He was really
but let me tell you this story. Let me, like, get off topic for, like, 5 fucking minutes.
I blame you, Mid.
What?
You interjected him.
You can't
He was
blame me. You can't blame me.
I just did.
I have the
I
power
still
of...
get to continue.
No.
One day I'll tell the story.
According to the person that edits this, you were the one that interjected.
Oh, bitch. So, Spy Master.
Spy Master.
Yes, this character
Don't interject,
got really good at spying on the other characters, just so he could interject himself into any story.
Ew.
That's the only reason. I did steal from him the fact of having an imp pop into random rooms to spy on people.
How many characters do you have that have imps? Is that like your thing? Is that your favorite thing?
No. I saw this on another character. He had an imp, and he used it to spy on people.
Oh, is that where you got the idea from?
I liked that idea.
It's like, I hate this player, but the idea is really good.
Well, see, if you hadn't interjected, then you would have remembered that he said, hey, I know in our Tuesday game, I play a warlock, and this is the campaign where I got the inspiration from. But you interjected, so you forgot about it. Just saying.
Go drink your tea. Go drink your tea.
Pretend I'm Z-snapping. I'm doing like a little Z-snap right now.
Go drink your tea. Finish your story.
We good? We good? You sure?
Third time's the charm.
If H stops being a bitch.
I think I got the point through pretty well. Story over.
That's why the last video that the 3 of us did together got like almost 10,000 views.
It's just like to hear us argue.
No, it hasn't. We're like 100 away.
All the fucking tea that we spill on the Tuesday game.
Oh, yeah.
We have new players, by the way, guys, and they're amazing. One of them is a satyr. I enjoy them.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I enjoy new players.
Yeah. Someone wants to show up.
Yeah, the one that like never shows up, and then when they do, they're busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, That's different, but the other two are nice.
Yeah.
So we've talked about bad players. We've talked about, what identifies a bad player. Either it's a rules lawyer, someone that lacks hygiene, powders, metagamers. But there are ways to deal with bad players. And I feel like a lot of the dealing with a bad player is placed at the feet of the DM. But at the same time, it's like players should also take a role in managing a bad player. It should not be up to the DM. Now, as a DM, I'm probably biased in this opinion.
I definitely agree that the players, it's their companion. They definitely should have some say and responsibility in dealing with them.
So what are some ways to deal with bad players? What is a way that, besides like spraying them with Axe body spray, which I've actually done, not on this show.
Please? Oh God, why would you make it worse?
That was all we had.
Febreze.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Febreze was around at this time when I did this. We had a character when we sprayed with Axe body spray because it was so bad sitting across the table from this person. So don't judge me for this, internet. Don't judge me for this story. First off, I didn't do it, so therefore I'm not part of it. As a joke, I had coerced one of my players to tie up my other player in duct tape. And this person, his skin was so oily, he just slipped the duct tape off.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
So if you're talking about bad hygiene, like this individual, just, it was so nasty. He was such a bad player that literally we identify bad players as this person. Like, if you're a bad player, you're considered this person's name. Going back to dealing with bad players, wrapping them up in duct tape is not a way to deal with bad players. Spraying them with Axe body spray is not a way to deal with bad players. Those are bad ways to deal with them, and I do not recommend, no one from the Sunday Nights would recommend causing harm to another person as a joke or anything. For legal reasons, we don't condone causing harm to other players.
I definitely do not condone throat punching people when they piss you off.
So, as someone that only plays exclusively on the internet, because I started with COVID, I have never had to deal with such issues as these, but I've had to deal with other issues that are way easier solved than duct taping people and spraying them or throat punching them.
Don't judge me.
Look, I have never actually throat punched anybody.
Right.
I imagine it's very satisfying, though.
It is. I mean, I've never done that before in my life. All right, we still haven't talked ways to deal with bad players. The only thing I have on this thing is let Squirrel Girl beat them up. So we should probably get actual.
No. Chief was saying that because he started in COVID, he's had to deal with bad players that are not the hygiene and stuff like.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Easier ways, and then we branched off from there, and he never actually finished that line of thought.
One person I had was just, it wasn't a horrible player. It was just somebody that was new, and they did not know how to roleplay. They did not know how to get into a character. They would always ask things directly to the DM, and just to encourage them to roleplay more, I would always answer their questions in character, and you'd be like, I don't know what that is. That's a different realm or something. I'd always answer in character, just passive aggressively, and they're like, oh, we're supposed to be in character. And he finally got it. That's just something simple. I'm not going to say you need to be passive aggressive. It's not what I'm advocating here. But I am saying slight nudges towards the right direction can do a lot if somebody wants to do better.
So when does it become a point where you feel like you have to get involved? One of the games that I was in, and I wasn't actually a part of it, I was the DM, but the players had actually apparently gotten together, and they would call it Operation Old Yeller, where they were going to kill one of the other characters.
Oh my god.
It was so bad.
Savage.
Yeah, this player had no idea how bad it got, and he was like, oh yeah, the game is fantastic. I'm playing such a great character, and everybody loves me. And I'm like, no, they fucking don't. They want to kill you. The character was interruptive. He tried to make the entire story about himself. I had no sympathy for this player. I totally understand where the other characters are coming from. So what is the breaking point for you guys? Either the DM needs to step in, I need to step in, or I'm bouncing because this person is just too much to handle right now. Where's the line for you guys?
I don't know about players stepping in, but if your players have started Operation Old Yeller, then the DM needed to step in.
Well, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I was told about that after the game was over.
Oh, okay.
I was approached afterwards. I didn't know it was a problem until after the game had ended.
I based it on majority rules. That's how the guy got asked to leave from my old group. There was a couple people who, you know, they were like, yeah, you can stay, you can go, I don't care either way. But most of us were like, yeah, he's making us uncomfortable. And so that's when it ended up falling to the DM to ask him to leave because the DM hosted. He pulled him aside at the end of I think it was like on a different day. He like called him or something. That way there was no awkwardness because I was the guy's chauffeur. So I drove most of the group there. But yeah, so it was kind of a majority rules thing. If enough of the people are uncomfortable or don't want the guy in the group, you know, you gotta majority rules.
But is there steps to take before you drop the axe? Like, is there things that you should have done or things you could have done before you're like, all right, well, we just got to kick this guy out?
That particular instance, it was a guy that we had all known. I have known that D&D group for 18 years now. We had known him for well over a decade. It wasn't something that like he could be taught to play nice. You know, in that instance, it was just his personality didn't mesh with the rest of the group, and it just kind of finally came to a head. If it was like newer players, you could definitely nip it in the bud a little bit earlier.
And what do you mean by nip it in the butt?
You're kind of being a dick with this interjecting stuff. Maybe tone it down a bit, you know, let the others, you know, have their moments too. You know, just talking to people. It's literally what this game is talking. So if you can't talk to people out of character, you're not going to be able to talk to a main character, basically.
But what if the player doesn't want to talk, just completely stonewalls you?
Then why would they even bother staying? Like, if they're not going to talk out of character, then I sure as hell am not going to want them in my game. If you're not even willing to talk to us, then get the fuck out. Like,
so what I'm getting from, and correct me if I'm wrong, but opening a form of communication at the start and trying to wean them off their bad habits. Chief and H both have said something very similar. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So trying to wean them off their bad habits, but if they're not listening, then, and I would rather take a smaller group than a poisoned apple. What's the saying? Yeah. Like one bad apple spoils the batch or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't feel like the nuclear option should be the first option. Definitely talk to that player, trying to just turn away from, you know, doing the bad stuff, you know, the things that are bothering. But if the problem does consist, then it is time to, you know, give that person the axe. Now, does that fall completely on the DM, or should the players also get involved in that?
We have a rule set in one of the servers that I play in still. This is how we deal with bad players. It's a 3-strike system. Strike 1 is the subtle suggestions in game. They can even be like in characters. This happens a few times by multiple players. And then if that doesn't work, step 2 is one of the players has to message the DM. The DM will then message the other players other than the one that is being asked about. If they all agree that there is a problem with this person, the DM will then message them, hey, this is a problem that you need to stop. If this doesn't stop, then we're going to have to kick you out. If it happens again, we give like one final excuse, and then it's, hey, if you do blank again, we're sorry, but we're going to have to kick you out.
Okay, I think that's valid.
That does sound valid. So an ultimatum, you know, desist your behavior, or we're not going to tolerate it anymore.
Yes, that is the 3-strike system that we've used. And you're like, well, that's a lengthy It's happened before within half of a session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't skip a step. Yeah. It was full on all 3 strikes within 30 minutes of a session. I've brought up this character in a previous rant, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah, the 3-strike system was in place then, and 3 strikes and you're out, and it could happen then, or it could be 6 months. It could be like, oh, he doesn't do it very often. Every now and then this character does this thing. Nobody likes it. So
I definitely feel like a lack of information. This game does draw people that have very little social skills.
That's tired.
It's true. Also, they're very intelligent individuals. People that play this game, they're very intelligent. There's a lot of math. There's a lot of
things.
And creative. There's a lot of things. But at the same time, is a lot of people that play this game don't can't or won't pick up on social cues. They don't take the time to learn those kind of skills. I completely understand that. So they might be doing something hurtful to other people and not know it at all.
Yeah.
Definitely opening up a line of dialogue and trying to fix their problems will go a long way, and it'll make them better players. You know, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want, you know, to make them upset. Sometimes that sense of loss makes a person better. You know, it gives them the opportunity to reflect onto what they did wrong and gives them that opportunity to change what they are. Maybe it won't be for your group, but it'll be for another group, and they might become a better player out of it.
I think the quote-unquote bad players that I've encountered, they weren't necessarily bad players. They were just overexcited, I think. They got really, really eager to play. They wanted to do all the things with their character. They just kind of accidentally trampled everybody else by taking up the spotlight. That's why I'm like adamant about, hey, tone it down a little bit. You're not a rogue. Stop looking for traps. We literally have a rogue in our party. So like that kind of stuff. Like it's not necessarily that they're bad. They just...
I think at this point everybody knows my love for Mary Sue characters.
Ugh.
I don't have any.
But yeah, I think their communication is so fucking vital.
The Mary Sue characters, I do feel, are 90% of them are bad players because they want the game to be about themselves.
I agree.
They want the game to be about themselves. When it's not about themselves, they get all pouted and they just become unfun to be around. We're here for collective enjoyment. If you condense it all the way down to one thing, is that someone that takes away the fun from somebody else. That's a bad player. That's not...
If you're a Mary Sue role player in D&D,
just go play Skyrim. That's what you want to do.
No, like fucking fan fiction is all about Mary Sue's. I used to read so much fan fiction.
Oh, like,
Mary Sue characters.
Those fan fiction writers are now just peppered all over Amazon. I have gone through so many crap books because the Amazon reviews have lied to me. Oh, 5 stars. All right. This character is an 18-year-old assassin that's so good he beats the master assassin in a one-on-one duel after being attacked by all the other assassins, and he keeps his girlfriend safe the entire... I was like, I literally like if I can find the review that I wrote on it, I will post it up on here because...
Oh my gosh,
it was so bad.
My favorite video of all time on YouTube is called Trapped in a Island with Josh Hutcherson.
Okay.
I don't have as much as a problem with Mary Sue characters.
I
feel like
shots fired.
It's D&D. You're wanting to be the very best at everything you can be. And that's fine. You want to be an awesome character. You want to get to high levels and be able to do anything you ever want to do.
Right.
That should be your drive.
But at the same time, it hurts the balancing. If you are the best character and you have the best stats and you have all this, and you're playing on this super hard level, that means that I have to challenge you as a character, and everybody else that's not playing at your level is going to die.
Yeah. I think it's more of a balance between both. You shouldn't just completely steer away in the opposite direction of being a Mary Sue. You still want to be a good character.
You can min-max and you can specialize and you can be good at one or two things. If you have a rogue in the party, you let them do the rogue things. If you have a fighter in the party, let them do the fighting thing. A Mary Sue character is someone that's trying to do everything and is trying to be everybody. It's not fun for everybody. And so you're taking fun away from other players, and therefore you are a bad player.
I'm saying you can be an assistant to other things. Like, I'm not saying that you should strive to be a Mary Sue. I'm saying that there is a gray area. There is this area where you can not hog the spotlight, but be helpful to other characters and still be there in the scene sometimes, not all the time.
Look, all I'm saying is don't make an artificer and then have your homunculus go around giving everybody the help action. That's all I'm saying.
Savage.
Just saying. You could be a warlock and have spy skills.
You can do that. If you're doing that, then therefore that you should be focused on that, and you should not be doing the other stuff. Like you should not be trying to learn 50 different languages at that while you're trying to do your spy stuff.
Whoa! Shots fired.
Hold on. How is that shots fired?
I'm trying to learn like 50 different languages.
But you're not also being a spy master.
Oh no.
You shouldn't specialize in 30 things. Specializing in 2 things, fine.
Yeah.
But 30 things, no.
Yeah.
Look, I heard trying to learn 30 different languages, like, whoa!
Yeah, you're not even listening to what we're saying. All you're doing is just watching the bubbles pop up.
Shut up. You're personally attacked right now.
But yes, opening up a line of conversation, to that person, they don't get infinite chances. And I do like the 3 strikes, you're out. I feel like 3 strikes in some instances may be too harsh and sometimes it may be too lenient. So you definitely are going to have to play that one by ear. So you shouldn't be like, all right, strike. And you don't tell them that they got a strike.
Okay, but the first strike is not told. The first strike is just kind of...
But the first strike should be told. You should be like, hey, you fucked up. You did a bad. This is what you did a bad to. And if you continue to do the bad, there is going to be consequences. You may not tell them what the consequences are, but they should know that they fucked up. If they don't know they have 1 strike, they're 100% going to get strike number 2.
They need to know that they've got a strike. Yeah. Otherwise, they're not going to stop it if they don't know that what they're doing is causing a problem.
If no one comes up to you and say, hey, you're doing a bad thing, you're going to continue to do the things that you're doing because you don't know that they're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that point. Because we don't want to intimidate people with oh, there's a strike, and then, oh, well,
then don't say it's a strike. Just say, hey, we don't appreciate you doing this. Or...
They need to be told that they're doing something bad.
They are, but the first strike is trying to be subtle.
And my suggestion to that server, to that group, is that they should have that rule up. Hey, before you start the game, I want you to know about this 3 strike rule that we have. If you do something bad, if you break these rules that we have out, these are the rules of our server. If you break any of these rules, strike 1. If you break it again, strike 2. Do it again, you're out. If you have a 3 strike rule, especially if they don't know what the rules are, if you don't know what the rules are, they're definitely going to get a strike 1. And if you don't tell them that they got a strike 1, you're 100% going to give them a strike 2. Literally, you have a 2-strike system.
Apparently, great minds think alike because it's now posted in the rules section.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, because the DM said these exact same words. It's now posted in the rules section as of a month ago.
Midgarin for the win. # always be winning.
Wait, but I was agreeing with you.
Which one?
If they don't know the rules, they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
So they need to know it up front.
So yeah, everybody but you, Chief, agrees. So we're...
It's literally posted. I was just saying they don't know when they have broken the first rule. But yes, the rules are posted.
Do they know about the 3-strike system?
Yes, the rules are posted. The first strike. And it says first strike is subtle by individual player to try to steer you onto a right course. When more than one player comes to DM, after giving you a suggestion, that is when you've broke the first strike. So it has to be more than one player after giving you a suggestion that you failed to follow. That is strike 1.
Right. Okay. And that's fair. I'm not saying that for your server. I'm not saying that for that server, but any server that has a 3-strike system or it has a rule system, your rules should be posted. On Midgarin Gaming, the server, link down in the description. Truthfully, link down in the description. I don't have rules posted in my server. Our server's more fluid, I guess, because we only have 2 games going at this time.
Yeah.
But if you do have a system like that in place, that should be the thing. If you're a DM and you have homebrew rules, those should not be a surprise at all. I've played in games where I've tried to do something and the DM goes, oh, that doesn't work in my world. Since when? I was like, oh, it's always that way. Oh, how come I didn't know about that? Well, I just figured I'd tell you now. It's like, well, if my character lived in your world, he would know these things.
Yeah.
Well, I want it to be a surprise. How is that a surprise? If I live in my world, I know how gravity works. It's like, if I'm a wizard, I know the laws of magic.
I will always ask what the rules are up front, because some people will give everybody a free feat at level 1. Some people don't. Some people have certain rules for stats. Some will let you reroll 1s. Some are 3k3, some are 4k3.
I would advise to have that posted in all servers. Sometimes the DM isn't there.
My character creation rules are posted in every Roll20 game I play in.
Yeah, they're in the game.
So don't be coming with
I know it says to ask him, but he wasn't there at the time, and he put me in charge of helping people.
It's posted on the site.
I
post my rules.
It says ask him. He's not here. He put me in charge. I don't know if you could re-roll. I'm just saying that happened at one point during your last one shot, and I'm just like, I guess you can re-roll. Those are actually kind of crappy stats.
So we talked about identifying bad players, the types of bad players, the things that can ruin a game, and also a way to deal with the bad players. So at the end of this all, does anybody have any stories of a bad player that particularly is juicy? Any horror stories?
Before we started, the DM, Midgarin, requested that nobody play Netrunners, specifically because if you listen to our podcast, you know the style, quick and dirty, basically. Net running is not quick and dirty. Like, it's just not. So a player was asked to bow out of the game, and he decided to just leave the whole fucking thing. It ended up being alright, even though he was in our Tuesday group as well. So I guess he just took it a little too far.
So this is information to me. I always knew that he left on bad terms. I didn't know it was because he chose a netrunner.
There was a lot. I was not going into all of the details.
Well, I was told, but I did not know that was a factor.
There was a lot of factors. They'd been with us for a while, and that person was like, that's not a reason to keep. I had talked to the individual on a couple occasions, don't do these things. And the thing is consistent. All right, well, just bow out for this game. Just take a break. And they took it as, it was like, all right, well, have a nice life. I'm out. I was like, okay.
We were all in a Discord talking about how to create our characters, trying to make sure they all work together for this storyline. He listened to about the first 15 minutes and said, I'm out. Left the Discord and went to go make his netrunner.
Yeah.
That was the first red flag, at least of the Cyberpunk series.
You say we had a whole season of them right before Cyberpunk.
Thank you, Aech, for that story. Thank you guys so much for listening. We have come well past our time. If you did like what you heard out today, please like, share, comment down below your favorite rules for handling bad players, your worst types of bad players, and also comment any type of topics you would like us to cover here on the Sunday nights. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Aech. And minstrels, go ahead and play us out.
How is this a podcast?
Any juicy or low?
Quick and dirty. Quick and dirty.